Hi, Christopher. Thank you for joining us today. Why don't you tell us what's going on?
Right now I'm applying for disability from neurofibromatosis and complications thereof, but I've fallen into the hole of I don't have anywhere to live steady long enough to follow through with follow-up appointments, which is the documentation I need to get my Social Security. So if I have a place to stay put, to go through multiple follow-up appointments to give information and disability to get approved for housing, I can't get the information for housing,
Yeah.
and it's ending up in cycle.
And how do they usually, I talked about your case with people, and they're always saying, well, there's a shelter here and there's a shelter here, but people for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid who have been really responsive to your case, I think,
Yeah.
also say, and I will tell them, also say that understandably, shelters are not the answer.
Oh, no, like someone in the position with medical problems, I have to catheterize myself in order to urinate on top of carrying some meds on me, which when you're in the you're at very high risk for a whole number of things. When you have full physical ability and you're carrying multiple prescriptions and catheters, it puts you at a very increased risk in shelters.
Oh, sure. So tell me, Christopher, tell us a little. You're 29.
I'm 29. I used to work for UPS, worked 8 hours a day there, worked any other side job I could find. When I danced ballet in the Pennsylvania ballet, I was a nutcracker.
Nice.
And then I was also ballet company, and I did the Nutcracker at the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City when I was younger. So, I mean, I used to do martial arts. I used to be physically, I used to be one to not stop, and I need this follow-up care for disability so I can get back to living.
Sure. Your mom had NF. Is that right?
Yes, my mom was a spontaneous mutation out of a family of 6. So she was a spontaneous mutation.
Would you tell us a little how your NF affects you?
I'm sorry, what was that? There's a little bit of a delay.
Sorry. Would you tell us a little how your NF affects you?
My NF affects me. I have urinary and bowel retention, so like I said, I had to catheterize myself. I've lost my balance, so I mean, I can't dance or do on my feet, I'll fall.
Oh.
And a lot of icy cold sensations that the cold that just won't go away. So I mean, you end up wearing like 3 or 4 pair of pajama bottoms, and it just feels like you can't get warm. I mean, I'm missing the sphenoid plate above on the top of my sinus. I had what's called an encephalocele, which is herniated membrane and brain tissue that's herniated in the sinus cavity, and there's no bone plate there, so that's exposed.
Yeah. Wow. And your mother sadly.
So right here, I'm missing some of my.
Sorry, we do have a bad connection.
So I think hold on, I lost you. Are you back?
I am here.
Sorry. Where did
That's
it?
all right. I was asking about your mom. She passed away.
Did you get about like what I said? Because it froze up on my screen.
Oh, about your sinus?
The encephalocele. I'm sorry, it's up on my end.
That's all right.
My mom had neurofibromatosis, same, only hers invaded her lungs and grew along the lining of the lung tissue and pretty much destroyed her lungs.
I'm so sorry.
And she had over 300 tumors removed in her life. She was never one to be scared or ashamed, neither am I. I mean, she was 66. She would go out onto the beach in a bikini when she was younger, and just go out and not care what people said. And if anyone said something, she was more likely to inform them about NF than even come back angry. Because, as she said, the only way we'll find a cure is to get knowledge out there.
We agree. When did she die?
She passed away in October.
I'm so sorry. Do you have siblings, Christopher?
Only.
I only heard part of that.
Sorry, I'm an only child.
I see.
And my mom was here.
So tell me, so you are technically on the streets, and you sometimes stay with friends, or do you have relatives?
Stay with friends. Like I said, when I can, I'll stay with a friend, or I'll stay with a relative for a little while.
Yeah.
But fall in that same gap. There's no one in PA family, so I mean, you're like, even if it was in Philadelphia, getting back and forth to the doctors, that's a problem. And I'm not going to be able to go through with my doctors. And, I mean, if I do go anywhere, I'm going to have to come back to Penn anyway. So
Sure. Now, I know that the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid got you a different insurance, or more accepting insurance, as of Sunday, March 1st.
Yes, and it's active. And here's the thing. I have a place to stay till Friday, but I have the appointment with the neurosurgeon literally on the 4th.
Wow.
So it's like I'm like right on the cusp of going to the follow-ups. I had to provide documentation, but it's about just staying put for long enough for the next 3 weeks forward to go to the follow-up.
Well, again, I'm really personally glad you reached us. You were telling me that there are other homeless people who have, people without permanent shelter, who also have disabilities or conditions.
Definitely. Even when I was younger, I volunteered at the soup kitchen at Old St. Joseph, so I've always been listening to stuff, and even seeing it from this side now, I mean, there's a lot of people with mental disorders out there that can't get help because they can, unless you're an active threat to yourself, they can't admit you sometimes. But then just like me, going to those follow-up appointments is the most important part. Is do the follow-up. So one session here or there isn't what you need when you have serious medical disabilities, but you need a place to stay put doctor and get your continuity of care instead of having to constantly go here, go there. You need continuity of care to make any progress, and that's the problem. You fall into this cycle of you stay here for a little while, see this doctor 2 or 3 times. Oh, you can't get to that doctor. So now, instead of getting treatment, you're still basically getting pre-op. The doctor's still learning you.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that what you've. I'm so sorry.
It only makes you strong.
Well, I know, but I think you're strong enough. You've been through incredible amounts. Well, as I said, even despite the bad connection, I'm going to make sure that as many people as possible see this, and they can I'll have them contact me at NF Mid-Atlantic, and because I can reach out to you. We want to make sure you're safe, and especially no time is a good time to be without permanent shelter. The winter is awful. Are you getting food? Are you eating enough?
Yes, I'm eating. I have to go pick up my food stamps card.
Good.
But the same thing, if you want to add on to about the sheltering and place to live, my food stamps got turned off for a long time because it turned out being homeless when I went in for treatment care, I ended up getting admitted right from a clinic right into Penn's care for NeuroWatch. They didn't have an address. The address they used was different than the ones I had already had on file for my food stamps. That threw a hiccup in the that took 3 months for them even to realize it. and they started the supervisors started working with me. No one could figure this out, and it finally turns out that one little address change, because there's no fixed permanent this is your address, threw everything out of whack. So it's not just your health care, your food stamps. I mean, it really
Of
puts you at
course.
risk. I mean, to not be able to have access to anything.
And here you are, a creative young man who can do so much, but you spend, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like you spend almost 24 hours a day just trying to survive day.
Mm.
And it's not what you should be doing. Anyway, so we'll get this out as much as we can. I'm so glad that you came
Thank
on
you. And
today.
like I said, my mom ran the support group. If anybody's out there, at a children's hospital back in the day. I
Yeah.
would love, once I get on my feet again, I would love to get a support group going. I have no problem getting access to pamphlets and information, and I'm on Facebook. And if anyone has any questions about NF, they can reach out to me anytime.
We'll put all that information out there. Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you so much, Christopher.
Thank you guys.